I didn't know whether someone would support a big venture like this because it's not a small film.
Right.
It's a huge film. It's a huge challenge to make it.
There's bound to be scrutiny, but that's beyond me.
I'm a Brahmin myself. So if I'm going to make a film that where the on caste differences, naturally I would be questioning myself first. I wouldn't be leaving it to the Brahmins or the world to come and question me and doubt my intentions. Hundreds of soldiers flying in the air. You have a whole array of them dancing. I mean, I would love to soldiers to dance. I mean, even they need a break, but not in cinema, for God's sake.
Yeah.
The queens in all our biopics, they walk as though they walked out of the Gold Gym in Bandra. I'm sorry, that's the body language they have. Budgets abroad are 10 times or 100 times our budgets, but you can see the budget being utilized in every nook and corner. Here, half of it's wasted.
The conversation has become worse.
Really?
Yeah. Evidently, there's no monies.
Hello everyone, welcome to News 18. I am Titas Chowdhury in conversation with Patralekhaa and Mr. Ananth Mahadevan. Hello, how are you?
Very well, thank you for having us on your show.
Absolutely. My pleasure. To start with, I want to ask you, when did the germ of the idea really come to you to make Phule?
See, Phule has been on our minds ever since we were children and we were in school. But the idea of making it into a cinematic spectacle actually came in a very interesting way because it's a fusion of thoughts. I was doing a one-woman show for Nadira Babbar. She wanted to play Savitri and she wanted to play a bevy of characters around. And it was supposed to be a one-woman show. So I did a lot of research on Phule and wrote it with her in mind because she was on stage. It wasn't a film. But for some reason, it didn't work out. And then our producers, Ritesh Kodecha and Anuya Kodecha, one day called me and said, do we have something on Phule? So I said, this is quite a coincidence, because they hadn't sort of envisioned a film at that point. But I said, let's make it into a film because I got so much material on her. I think that's the material I passed on to you where you said it's so voluminous that, what is this all about? So that's how it all germinated at that point. From, a one-woman show on stage to getting it into a screenplay for a film.
But do you plan on probably making it someday?
I didn't know whether someone would support a big venture like this because it's not a small film.
Right.
It's a huge film. It's a huge challenge to make it. And so I think it just fell into place when Anuya and Ritesh, decided to also, hop in and support it.
Right. I want to ask to the two of you, how important and relevant do you think is this story today? Because it talks about, the social issues, like, there's, of course, patriarchy there, caste issues, of course. These things continue to plague our society, till today. How important and relevant do you think is this in, let's say, 2025?
I think your question had the answer.
You answer the question yourself because somewhere subconsciously everyone realizes that these social ills have not been solved yet.
Yeah.
And, although we have educated women and today the woman is an independent entity by herself, even in the smaller areas of the country and, in the Mufussil areas, we have gender discrimination, we have caste discrimination, we have so much of differences in classes that somewhere what Jyotiba and Savitribai Phule started in the mid-1800s, unfortunately still holds good today. And of course, it can't be eradicated even over 100 or 200 years. It will take time because the whole mental mindset of people should change. And I don't think it's changing in the positive way. It's like, it's still very indifferent. So this film couldn't be more relevant today than at any other time.
Right. Patralekhaa, you want to add something?
No, I think you both gave the answer to the question. So, it is obviously very relevant.
The character that you are playing, of course, she brought about, such a change, of course, a revolutionary. When you're playing a character like that, that of course, I understand the sense of responsibility, from your end as an actor. But I'm sure you also understand that there's going to be a lot of scrutiny, over it. What did you make of it? Keeping that in mind, how did you really navigate this?
Initially, I was obviously a bit overwhelmed because, they are such icons and there's bound to be scrutiny. But that's beyond me. All I thought that I could do was give 100% to what I was doing. And that was like acting. But beyond that, it's not upon me. I'll be really happy if my audiences accept me as Savitri Bai. But if there are even minute chances of them not accepting me, could be, So I know that I gave it my 100%. I gave it all I had.
Right. So you said that now, see, we know that the film has been, pushed now, the release date, and I heard you saying that, there were certain concerns that we need to now address. When you're making a film like that, I'm sure you knew that there could have been, different opinions from a lot of people. Were you ready for that?
You see, we don't get into a film or a project with these kind of doubts and fears in mind, you see. I mean, when you're talking about a fearless couple like Jyotiba and Savitri Bai, I mean, if you are going to harbor those kind of fears, I mean, then you don't deserve to make that film. What we do is make it honestly, stick to the facts and the research, do not exaggerate, and do not make it look unrealistic in any way, because their lives have been so dramatic that you don't even need to take any cinematic liberty to do anything. In fact, you have to underplay a lot of things. It's so dramatic. So at that point of time, I mean, certainly not. I mean, I'm a Brahmin myself. So if I'm going to make a film that where on caste differences, naturally I would be questioning myself first, whether I'm doing the right thing or not. I wouldn't be leaving it to the Brahmins or the world to come and question me and doubt my intentions. So they should know that it is the doctor who is actually treating the patients, and you can't question the doctor. The doctor would want the welfare of his patients. So I just want to clear these little cobwebs in their mind. Of course, it's come out of judging a trailer, which is not the right way to judge a film in its entirety. So I would say, yeah, I mean, there was no fear at all when I made this film. No.
Yeah, right. Patralekhaa, you last year, I think, finished a decade, as an actor in the industry. Of course, which means you are in very much a part of the craft. You've been doing that. But, what is very interesting when it comes to the roles that you play is that you have retained that rawness somehow, and that, of course, we can see it on camera. Having worked so much, how do you still keep that rawness intact?
That's
a very complimentary question.
Yeah, thank you for that
must answer that
compliment. Yeah. But I don't know, really. My only motto is to be honest to what I do. Also because I really do love it and I really enjoy it. So I think my approach is to be authentic to what's written on paper and be instinctive about it and not think too much over the characters that I play.
Yeah. So not overthinking is the mantra.
Yeah.
I think that's a very nice thing she said about being instinctive, because she's not a method actor. Method acting can just lead you haywire sometimes. She sort of trusts her instincts, and that's where I think the honesty of the performance also comes. And that's why you felt that it was raw,
Yeah.
Because when you're honest about, an actor's honest about his or her performance, it shows on the face.
Very true. But now that you have become a producer yourself, have you started looking at filmmaking, or maybe, has your perception of a film set changed in any way from the other side?
Yeah, of course.
How?
Absolutely. Like, I feel like an actor honestly has only that much to do.
Right.
It's you and your script and your lines and your character, and you're just working. It's just between you two. But as a producer, it occupies a lot of mental space. You are thinking of a set in an entirety. You're thinking about funds, you're thinking about getting your film green-lit, trying to get the right director for that right script, getting the correct casting done. So I feel it's endless.
Yeah.
It is and it occupies a large part of your non-creative brain as well. Acting is lovely. It's just you and your work.
Yeah, but do you plan on maybe directing someday?
See, I never plan on becoming like having a production house either.
right.
So I don't like plans so much, but why not?
You're open to the
Yeah,
idea of
I'm
it.
open to the idea.
Great. So going back to what you were saying earlier about the fact that you, in this film, you didn't have to take any kind of creative liberties because, their stories in itself, it's so dramatic, for the lack of a better word. However, the kind of biopics that we see playing out on the big screen today, it's all of that, right? It's stylized, there are, like you said, I think, in one of the interviews that I read, slow motion shots and all of that. Do you think that's sometimes also done to cater to the image of the star that's there in the film?
See, let me tell you something, and people are not going to like what I'm going to say. But what we do in the name of biopics is not doing justice to the subject we select. Whether it's a historical figure, whether it's a sportswoman or an Army Navy officer or whoever, what we do is we pick up that particular name and we sell that name in the name of that particular figure, and then people get excited, oh, we're going to watch him or her, their history, their story. And what you finally end up is with a whole lot of exaggerated stuff in typical Indian film fashion. You have hundreds of soldiers flying in the air. You have a whole array of them dancing. I mean, I would love to soldiers to dance. I mean, even they need a break, but not in cinema, for God's sake, And so what I feel is that we're being very dishonest with our biopics.
Okay.
Or don't say it's a biopic. Say it's a fantasy. Say it's an adventure. Say it's a Superman film. So that's what I really don't like about, So what I have been very particular in all the biopics I made, and particularly in Phule, to write from the body language. How is Savitri going to walk? Now, she is a modern woman.
Yeah.
She has a walk that is today's. How will she transform that walk into a Maharashtrian 1848 lady?
Right.
How will Pratik Gandhi's whole body posture and grammar be when he gets up, talks, walks? You have to break yourself from your modern postures and thinking to get into a certain kind of mold which is 200 years old.
Right.
They never walked like this.
Yeah.
The queens in all our biopics, they walk as though they walked out of the Gold Gym in Bandra. I'm sorry, that's the body language they have.
Yeah.
So no one pays attention to these details. So that is what we've been very, very, particular about in this. So when you see her walking, when you see Pratik walking, you feel that it's Savitri Bai. And so also even the extras in the film, it's not just the main characters. Even their walk, you won't find a certain modernity or a swag in them.
Yeah.
They walk the way they must have walked.
Must have walked.
Yeah.
But do you recall of watching maybe a biopic in recent years that you really liked?
I mean, so many of them have left a mark. I mean, whether it is Lincoln or Elvis or a complete unknown recently with Timothy Chalamet.
Right.
I mean, the detailing that goes into these films, the recreation, the production design, and so even the casting. I mean, you don't recognize those actors. They are in another garb all of their own. So why can't we take trouble to make those kind of films? I mean, take Lincoln, for example.
Yeah.
You can't recognize the actor from the character. So I think that's where we lack the zest, we lack the drive, and we lack the initiative. For some unknown reason. Maybe we don't take our cinema so seriously as this do.
Yeah. But do you think it's got to do with the budget also? But then we are also pumping in so much money for the biopics that we make here.
What are you pumping into? I mean, if the water is being pumped into a well and it's leaking out somewhere else, then the well will never be full.
Yeah, that's correct.
You got to put your money in the right place. Budgets abroad are 10 times or 100 times our budgets, but you can see the budget being utilized in every nook and corner. Here, half of it's wasted. And you could possibly make that film and, half the budget that you allocated to it. So, something wrong. The entire mathematics of cinema here is wrong. So I really can't say more than that, but we need to pull ourselves up.
Right. Since we're talking about money, I'll just take two last questions from you. Patralekhaa, again, like you finished a decade, has conversations about, asking for more money, has that become easier? So I'm asking you especially since you're a woman.
I think the conversation has become worse.
Really?
Yeah. Evidently, there's no monies.
Yeah. Okay. For you, when you are mounting a film, is that something you still struggle with to convince producers as to how much money they should be placing?
Yes, it's always been asked to convince them as to why a film deserves a certain kind of budget. But then, if they give me that budget, release the film in that particular budget, I realize that at the end of the day, it's me who has been shortchanged and not me. So it's happened all the time. So that much money has been reduced from their budget, my opinions.
Wow. Okay. But
because they turn around and tell me that we made the film you wanted. So it's like, it was my fault.
Oh, God. But, well, here's to better times ahead, right? I mean, we'll have to stay positive. What else can we do?
I mean, I think we are all positive people in this team and great positivity, I would say. Otherwise, this film would never get made. It may have got made in one stretch of a schedule, which was quite tough considering the areas we covered from Pune to Bhor to Satara to Vai to Kolhapur, that entire stretch of Maharashtra. And the boys and the girls, they were at it, I mean, whether it was an acting team or a technical team, they were at it. So, yes, there is hope as long as, we keep fighting to make the kind of cinema that should be made and not the kind of cinema that is being made.
Right, absolutely. On that note, thank you so much to the two of you.
Thank you.
I hope to watch it now on 25th April.
That's right.
That's the new date.
You're on the 25th of April and yes, we hope to see the audiences flock to the cinemas too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.